I can always edit it.
OK，那我就随便聊。
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay. Hello.
You don't have to be like that.
How are you? What's up?
Why are you so strange?
What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to talk about something. Like I want to share something like I experienced, my real experience from the work, and then how my emotional management helped me for the work. Share some real story with you guys. Maybe like later on or in the future, you know. And I hope that I can give you guys some like real world example.
Okay, so you were saying that you wanted to share your experience. What happened?
Yeah, okay. I think like a few weeks ago at my work, I was having meeting with the client, and I get an issue with my computer because we have some meeting. I got trouble to hear what they're talking. So and then I noticed the voice is coming out from the monitor, not the laptop itself. So I thought that's the reason, my monitor, got something wrong with my monitor. So I submitted a request to change my monitor. And then the company service person, he called me, and then he's trying to tell me like, there's nothing wrong with the monitor. I need to change my speaker setup. So, but then at that moment, I was like thinking he was wrong, I'm right, and I thought he just didn't want to change my monitor. So he's giving me the reason, like not to change my monitor. So we are like talking, going back and forth for about 6 minutes, try to like argue, not like argue, try to like convince the other side, I'm right. He think he's right and I think I'm right. So after 6 minutes, we're like talking back and forth. I felt like all of a sudden I felt like my body like felt very like anxious. I felt like at that 1 second my heart is kind of like speeding, and then I realized probably I'm going to start to argue with that person. And then at the moment I realized, my body gave me a sign. I felt very uncomfortable, continue talking, and then I pause a little bit, and I start to hear that person, and at the same time I was asking myself inside, saying what I want. Do I want to continue argue, or trying to convince him like I'm right, want to get a new monitor, or I can tell him like, I heard what you asked me to do, I can try to do later, and then stop the conversation, and I don't want to get like a fight with the guy, or make like everyone unhappy. So, and then when I realized that, I told him, okay, I can try next time, but then if it's still not working, I can tell him or submit another ticket. Yeah, so at the end, nobody is like mad, like nobody like unhappy. Actually, I really like feel like maybe I can try what he told me, you know, because I really didn't know. It is, and he seems like very confident, like it's not my monitor issue. Maybe just need to try to set up my settings. So at the end of conversation, he promised me if I submit another ticket, he will change the monitor, for me. And then I agree, like I will try his suggestions to try to change the monitor when the similar thing happen again. Yeah, so I think that's a happy ending. Everyone, get, what they need. And then there's no, and I was very calm and I didn't get like angry because I don't get the monitor, the way I want. And I didn't like upset, and then I also didn't like disappointed or have any like negative thought, because the guy also gave me a suggestion to try a different way to try to fix that issue, and he also promised me he will change the monitor for me if I the issue still not resolved by the through the way he told me. Yeah, so that's that conversation. I think like when I realized like my body felt like uncomfortable, and then I think I remember like I adjust my body a little bit. I was sitting in my chair and I feel uncomfortable, after 6 minutes talking, you know I feel very uncomfortable, so I was like adjust myself and then up and down, you know. Yeah, and at that moment I realized, oh, we should not continue back and forth, try to convince each other, you are right, you're wrong, I'm wrong, I'm right, And then I told him like, okay, I can try what he told me. And he also like, when he heard me saying that, he also make the compromise, so yeah, that's a happy conversation and ending. And then like a few days later, what's interesting is like a few days later a similar thing happened again, and I thought that guy, what that guy told me, so I was thinking, oh, maybe I can try what he told me, try to change the setting to see if that works. Then I did the way he told me, and it really worked. It ends up like he is, the way he told me is helping and is resolving my my issues. Yeah, so I felt like, wow, that's a good experience. It kind of like because when you that realization, from bring me from unconscious to conscious, really helped me make my choice. Yeah, and then really help like me not to go to my old way. Maybe like when the old way, when I talk to people who have that situation, like I don't get the things the way I want, I probably start to feel like mad, and then feel like upset, and then feel like hopeless, or feel like depressed. All those bad feeling may come to me. But because that realization, because that pause, all those like negative feelings, or like those not good feelings, really like I can avoid all those part feelings.
Sorry.
Are you listening?
Yeah.
What do you hear?
Well, it sounds like you or able to avoid some bad feelings, and you dealt with the monitor, the IT guy. Is he an IT guy? You at first you had like a physical reaction. You felt like very uncomfortable, right? And your heart was like beating really fast, and you felt really angry. But you didn't simply like react to your anger. You were able to like be mindful and respond to the situation, and eventually you were able to find a solution.
Yeah.
Which is successful.
Yeah. I really like that's a really a good experience. I really see my emotions coming out.
Improvement.
Yeah, and then really see like I can manage like those emotions. You know, I don't let all those things happen like in I think less than a minute. You know, so I can realize it. You know, adjust myself, and then make my choice, you know, and then make my decision, and then lead the conversation to a good ending. You know, I didn't get like arguments with the other side, and also I get the support like I want. You know, yeah. And later on, a few days later, I approved that the solution, you know, the IT guy gave to me really worked. Yeah. So I'm happy about that.
You're happy.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're very happy with the way the whole situation turned out.
Yeah.
And you're very like happy.
Yeah, I really happy like
emotionally.
yeah, it's really this kind of a tiny thing, you know, you deal with because at the work, you know, things like this really make you frustrated because like sometimes you feel like the computer is not working, you want to have someone help, but like at the moment you may not get the help you want, and like your mouse is not working and you can't get the you know help. So and then you have a lot of work at the same time, the real work at the same time you really want to spend time on. You just feel these things, you know, side things kind of like travel and then trivial, and then also like frustrated. You know, if you cannot handle it in a good way, it may impact your whole day, the rest of your day. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like problem solving. Do you want to talk? Do you want me to talk about my story?
Yeah, sure.
My blood test story?
Yeah.
We've already told each other both of these stories. But, okay, so what happened was I was supposed to get my blood test on Thursday, even though it doesn't really matter what day I was supposed to get my blood test on. But we went there like half an hour early because the first time we went there we were late. So this was already our second attempt to get the blood test, so I was really hoping that we would get it. But then once they called my name and they brought me into the lab, they were like, we don't have your lab work. We don't have your
Order
from the doctor. And I was like, okay, well, I don't have the paper order. They were like, do you have the paper order? I was like, I don't have the paper order. And they were like, well, we don't have it. And I was kind of freaking out. And then like right at that moment, like the wheelchair guy called me, and so I was like on the phone with the wheelchair guy, and at the same time they were trying to look up like my blood order. And then finally I got off the phone with the wheelchair guy. And then they were like, well, we can call the doctor's office. Do you have their phone number? And I was like, okay, yeah. Basically, they couldn't get the order, so then they told me, they were like, we can't do your blood test today. So then I left, and I felt really frustrated and bad, but again, I didn't like react. I feel like the old version of me would have started like yelling or something, or like if I was like still, you know, I feel like I would have like yelled or like gotten angry, but I didn't, which is good. And then I went outside and I called you and I told you the situation, and you didn't get mad, which I was really thankful for. And then I called the doctor's office, and then they were like, well, we can get the doctor's assistant to call you back. And I was like, well, that's probably gonna take a really long time. But then I called the psychiatrist's office, and then they were like, okay, yeah, we'll call you back. And then they actually did call me back in like within 3 minutes. And then the nurse, Cheryl, like sent in the order. So then I went back inside and I just like did a walk-in appointment. And then the blood test lady came out and she was like, why are you here? Because I feel like she was nervous. She thought I was like going to try to like cause trouble or something. She was like, wait, why are you here? And I was like, oh, they sent in the order. And she was like, oh, okay. And then after like 1 or 2 more people went inside, she was like, David, come in. And then she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, like we didn't, she was like, oh, we got the order. She was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know if she said apologized, if she said sorry, but her vibe was like, she was like trying really hard to be nice. And then she just like did my blood test, and it was really easy, and she found the vein really easily. And yeah, and I felt like she was really nice. And I feel like the reason why she was so nice was because even though there was like an issue, I didn't like make it into an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I like solved the issue. So I felt really good about that. And I finally did get my blood test, which is the goal. So I achieved my goal.
Yeah, even like some unexpected thing happened, right?
Yeah.
You learn your skill helped you to handle the unexpected situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. 好吧，那我们今天的 recording 哟，就这样结束了吧？啊？